Hey guys, today I'm going to review the Fiio UTWS 2025. This is a audiophile ear hook for your IEMs. As you can see, here I've attached it to my lecture Cadenza 4. So the UTWS 2025 is a direct upgrade to the old UTWS 5. The reason the upgrade was required is that in the old UTWS 5, there was a contact point over here, which is similar to something you would find on a TWS. It was made out of copper, but as people sweat, they would put it inside the case and that would get rusted. So to mitigate that issue, Fiio launched a new version of that, UTWS 2025. Now, how have they mitigated that issue? Well, they have put a wireless charging coil over here rather than any physical contacts. So when you put it inside, there's a wireless charging. So there is no contact points and that would stop the issue. A big thanks to Fiio for sending in this review unit, but all the thoughts and opinions you're about to hear are my own. Now, before I start the review, I just want to say that if you are expecting any physical changes or any changes from the tag or the chip, there is nothing like that. The only change has been to mitigate the issue of this physical contact points. Rest all the internals remains the same. Also, I think so the software is a bit more polished for this UTWS 2025. I'll talk about the software after I talk about the physical overview. So I'll pop some technical specifications and everything else on the screen so that you can get an idea as to what it is. I do not want to bore you with it. You can just pause it and read it. So this is the ear hook and I've attached it to my lecture Cadenza 4. So this is for my right ear and this is the button over here. This is the mic and this is the LED notification. Now I'll talk more about the button and what it can do when I show the app. And this is really comfortable. I thought this might be a bit too big for me, but when I wore it, I had no issues whatsoever. And this is really adjustable. You can adjust it according to your ear and you can even bend it inside or outside. Only thing is that don't do it too much because Fiio doesn't suggest you do that much. A bit to left right is okay for your ear adjustment, but don't do it too much as you might break this internal wire over here. So just be careful for that. The similar thing goes for the left. And the case is a bit big, it's a bit chunky. You can pocket it without any issues if you have a medium to larger pockets. But in smaller pockets, this could be a bit of an issue. So yeah, that's the case over here. Now, that's the physical overview. Let's talk about the app a bit because I think so the app has improved a lot over here. So when you open the app, this is what you see. And as you can see, this is the name of the UTWS5 2025 edition, aptX Adaptive. And as of this review, I'm in the firmware version 0.58. Now the indicators light on or off, you can do that from the app. So this is the indicator lights. This, yeah. And then this is the battery protection. The battery protection is actually really nice. Is what it does is when enabled, the battery will be charged to around 85%. So that is really good because as you know, to keep a healthy battery, you have to keep a device charged from 20 to 85%, not below that, not above that. So the Fiio UTWS5 offers that, which is really good because when you use this over the time, you might see some battery degradation, but with this option enabled, it might be a bit less. Now this also has a game mode over here, which works surprisingly well for me, although it's not as fast as a wired connection, obviously, but it does work pretty good. Now the button function, as I said, there are 3 standard button functions, 1, 2 or 3. Outside the box, the second button function is selected. So what does it do? Let me show you. Yeah. So when you do left single click right single click, you can do volume minus or plus only when it is playing or when there is a call. You can also use it to answer a phone call. Then double click to pause both left and right side. So that is a bit weird because what you do is you double click to pause it, but you don't double click to play it. You single click to play it after you pause. So that was a bit weird, which I noticed. Also, you can triple click to access your voice assistant in your left, and on your right, you can select something as ambient sound. I'll talk more about that later. And left hold for 2 seconds to previous track when you're listening to music, or hang up or reject calls when you're in a call. Similar for your right, when you hold it for 2 seconds, it's the next track. And hold on for 1 second to power off, and hold on for 5 seconds to when powered on to power it off. So basically, if it is outside the box and you want to keep it in your ear, but you want to power it off, you have to hold it for 5 seconds. That's it. Or else, if you do not want to, you can just take it and put it inside the box. So this is the battery function 2. It is the most convenient for me, which comes outside the box. So I didn't think of changing, but you can use battery function 1 or battery function 3. Then there is idle power off. Idle power off. I have kept it at 6 minutes. So if no music plays for 6 minutes, it switches itself off. Now, Bluetooth codec. This is where it gets a bit interesting because this is one of the few Bluetooth things, which Bluetooth earbuds or Bluetooth DACs, is where it supports the LHDC codec, the LDAC codec, the aptX AAC, and aptX adaptive. So why I say that it is good? Because LHDC is being used by a lot of companies like Huawei, Honor, Oppo, OnePlus, and many other Chinese manufacturers. It is similar to that of LDAC. LDAC is being used by Sony and other Android phones too. Now, aptX adaptive is really awesome. Why? Because if your phone supports Snapdragon sound, which is, if I'm not wrong, your phone having the processor Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 and above, what that aptX adaptive gives you is there are many choices for aptX adaptive. One is aptX adaptive, one is aptX adaptive HD, one is aptX adaptive TWS plus audio, one is just aptX adaptive. So it can automatically move between those 4 or 5 settings. And even that, you can go to your developer settings in your Android phone. If it has a Snapdragon sound enabled, you can select into high bitrate or low bitrate. Now the high bitrate in aptX adaptive, it gives you up to 860 kilobits per second. Not as high as LDAC's 990 kilobits per second, but 860 kilobits per second. And what advantage it has is that the connection is more stable than LDAC and LHDC over here, but still having a higher transmission rate. Now I'll talk more about the battery life about in aptX adaptive, LDAC and LHDC more. So in the next section. So this is the EQ section, which is very similar to that in what you find with the Fiio K17, Fiio BTR7 and all those things. And if you go to the advanced settings, you can select the PEQ options, which is really nice. I actually have been using my Lecture Cadenza 4 with a bit of an EQ with the Fiio UTWS5. I add a bit of a sub bass. They sound really good. Now, when coming to the audio section, here you can select the channel balance. So if your IEM has any channel imbalance, or if you have any hearing impairment on your left or right here, you can just select the slider. This is the low pass filter. I didn't find any differences between this filter, so I just kept it stock. Earbud volume. Basically what I did was I maxed out my volume on the device and I control the volume from this. So as of now, it is 11 out of 32, which is about what I need max. For me, that is more than enough. Sometimes for some IEMs or for some songs, I have to go, might be about 15 to 16. That's it. So 11 out of 32 is about 30% of the volume. Then the volume of tones. Basically, you can, when you play or pause, there is a tone playing. You can select that volume of call. Then language of tones, English or Chinese. Now coming to ambient sound. In the ambient sound, as you can see, it is 0 to 60. Basically, if it is 0, there is no ambient sound coming inside. And if it is at 16, almost all the ambient sound comes inside. I thought that this feature was a gimmicky, but when I used it, it was surprisingly useful. And if you are using the button function too, as I mentioned over here, then you can triple press the right earbud or the left earbud and on the ambient sound function. But the ambient sound is okay. It's not that good as something you might hear on an AirPod or something like that. So it might sound something like this. I'll just give you an idea. So you might find it like this, wherein it feels like you're cupping it. You're cupping your voice. So that's how you listen to it. Like that's how you feel it when the ambient sound is on. So it's not the best like when you compare it to an AirPods or Sony's or Bose's. But yeah, it's really good in an emergency because I do not want to take it out and put it again if someone is speaking to me. But I would suggest that when you use the ambient sound, do not use it when you're playing the music, because when you're playing a music, it has this weird hiss which I heard, and it specifically happens if your IEM has a BA driver. So I would not suggest using that. Only use it after you pause the music. So let's say you're speaking to someone when you're listening to music, pause the music, and then on the ambient sound. So that's a lot better. You do not have to take it out and put it in every time you have to speak with someone. It works surprisingly well, but please again do not compare it to the AirPods Pro or the Sonys and the Boses. This is the guide over here. Basically, if you lose the guide which comes with the Fiio UTWS5, you can just go inside the app and find the guide over here. In the setting, you can do the firmware upgrade. You can change the device name, clear the pairing, restore to default settings, and shut down the device. So that's about the app. Let's talk about the battery life a bit. So the battery life was surprisingly good. I tested it in aptX Adaptive at maximum, which is 860 kilobits per second, aptX Adaptive TWS Plus audio, aptX Adaptive HD audio, LDAC at best audio quality in 990 kilobits per second, LHDC at maximum quality, which is again at 990 kilobits per second. In all these 5 sessions, the UTWS5 2025 edition with the Lecture Cadenza 4 battery at around 11 out of 32, which is around 30% of volume, playing all FLAC files, I got around 6 hours and 15 minutes of battery life. Now this is really good considering what it is doing, because I never listened to 6 hours continuously, so that is really good. And if you use AAC or let's say any other codecs, or if you use LDAC or not your best audio quality but best transmission quality, then the battery life might increase even more. So that is really good. 6 hours with all these 5 scenarios is really good for the UTWS 2025. Now let's talk about the comfort a bit. The comfort of the UTWS 5 was really good. I had no issues wearing it. I can, as I said, bend it to left, right a bit, not too much. Don't do it too much. And the weight of the buds are not that much. So when you wear it, it hangs behind your ear and you can still access the button without any issues. So there was no issues with that. So in terms of comfort, I could easily wear them for 6 hours without any issues. Obviously, it depends as to what kind of IEM you're using. For me, I am using it as of now with the Lecture Cadenza 4. But I also used it with SimGot EM10, Zigat Estrella, SimGot EW300, SimGot Supermix 4, the Lecture S15, and also the Truthia Gate. Now, Truthia Gate, there's a bit of an issue. Sadly, the connection over here, as you can see, is still a recessed 2-pin. So Truthia Gate had a bit of an issue with the connection. It was quite loose and it didn't go inside that because Truthia Gate has very deep connection. So if your IEM has any recessed 2-pin, if it needs recessed 2-pin, then I sadly have to say that the UTWS5 will not work with it. Talking about the sound, well, the sound is actually really interesting because the sound was very neutral, very clean. It's exactly how I might hear in an IEM. So let's say what I heard from the Cadenza 4 is what I heard from the Cadenza 4 when I used the UTWS5. So that was really good. And only thing is that I want to say is that the attack and decay of the bass is a tad bit blunter over here from if I compare it to a normal dongle DAC. So that was what I found. But then again, what it is doing, this is really fantastic. By the way, I also used it with my Hibi R1. So it worked really well with this. This supports aptX, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this supports aptX as of now, and this also supports LDAC. So this worked really well over here. I used this with LDAC and aptX for the Hibi R1. Hey guys, this is the microphone test of the Fiio UTWS5 2025 edition. This is me speaking at my normal volume in a quiet environment. I hope you get an idea as to how these might sound when you're taking a call. So yeah, that's the microphone test of the Fiio UTWS5. After all this, do I suggest the Fiio UTWS25 2025 edition? Yes, I do suggest it because at $159, I think this is a really good pick. And what surprised me was the battery life of 6+ hours at LDAC maximum, aptX adaptive maximum, LHDC maximum. So that was really good. And obviously, you should not be expecting the similar performance to that of a DAC and an IEM. Let's say I'm pairing the Cadenza 4 with the iBasso DC7 Pro, right? Now let's say if the Cadenza 4 is utilizing 100% of its power with the iBasso DC7 Pro, with the UTWS25, it utilizes, you are hearing 80 to 85% of the Cadenza 4. So yes, that is really good in my opinion. Also, the ambient mode, which I showed you, works surprisingly well. Just be careful not to use it when you're playing music because it doesn't sound that good and the BA drivers causes an issue. So yeah, that's my review of the UTWS5 2025 edition. And if you have any questions or any doubt, please do comment below. I'll try to help you out. Like and subscribe. 94% of the people watching this video aren't subscribed to my channel. So I would really appreciate if you could do that. And it really helps me out a lot. I hope you have a great day ahead. Bye.